What's up everyone? I'm so sorry that this video took so long to get out there, but it is here. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please give it a like, a comment, and please subscribe to our channel. I got so busy with work and the new bunny and the bonding process and just life in general, which is why it took me so long to make this and upload it and edit it and all that jazz. This video is just going to give you guys a quick brief of what the bonding process looked like for me once we took Fraser Crane, which is now Romeo, back home with us. The play dates that took place and just the struggles that I had and the breakthroughs that we had and all that jazz. So I hope you guys like it. This was our initial setup when we brought him back home with us. As you can see, they are in two separate playpens with a wooden block in between the two. They both have a water bowl, a litter box, a blanket, and some toys. As you can see in the picture set in the right-hand corner of the frame, I have a tarp over the two playpens. Now I did this as a safety precaution for at night or when I left because occasionally they would try to jump over into the opposite playpen. The wooden block that I have set in between the two playpens was also a safety precaution. This prevented them from pushing the playpens too close in case they wanted to fight. However, it also allowed for them to see each other, smell each other on a consistent basis. Soon after we brought Romeo home, I ended up buying him the same water bowl that you see in Daisy's playpen area. This is a refillable water bowl. This allowed me to feel a lot more comfortable at night or when I was leaving them to make sure that they had enough water to last them. The blanket that each of them have in their playpen was to allow them to rub their scent all over it. Every day I would swap these blankets out and put them into the other playpen to allow them to smell each other even more and get used to it even more. I not only did this with the blankets, but I did this with their litter boxes and their toys as well. Okay, we're gonna do our first date at the apartment on my own. I have a towel here for, so they don't slip. I'm a little nervous, but I think it'll go well, hopefully. So I then brought Romeo in and I started petting them simultaneously at the same time to comfort them and make sure that they knew everything was okay. Now here you can see that they are very curious. This is good behavior. There's no aggression being shown whatsoever. So this was really good for a first time play date at a new place. Now don't jump on top of me. Shortly after this, I took out the bigger litter box to give them more space. Good girl. Now soon you are going to see Daisy attempt to hump him. This startled me and kind of freaked me out for a first time play date. So after she attempted to do this several more times, I thought that we should end the play date there. I just want to clarify that humping from the correct position with rabbits is definitely okay. This is rabbits showing their dominance, and usually one will do so during the bonding process. This was Daisy, and it usually is female, so this didn't surprise me. However, it did startle me. Overall, I was really happy how the first date went due to the fact that there was no signs of aggression. First of all, I totally apologize for the quality of this video. It is a little blurry. I'm not going to show it for very long. For the second play date, I ended up having it set up like this due to the fact that they kept hopping out of the bathtub. I think that they wanted a little more space. In a moment, you are going to see me petting the both of them and then swapping my hands and petting them again, but with the opposing hand. This is just rubbing their scent on each other.
That's okay.
This second date honestly blew me away. I was not nervous at all. I was very comfortable sitting there with them. They were very great together. The date ended on a good note with them nose to nose and in the same litter box. It was a great ending to a great date. You always want to end on a good note. Now here you can see a dustpan in the background. This was just in case a fight broke out. Now nothing had given me a reason to bring it in other than just a safety precaution. Again, you'll see me petting them simultaneously and then switching my hands to the other bunny to rub their scent all over each other. A few moments later, they were cuddling in the litter box together, and it really melted my heart. I soon pick up my phone a few minutes later to snap some photos of them. Now I just want to add, I think I got really lucky on these two. They bonded fairly quickly and got used to each other fairly quickly. This is now 6 minutes later and they're still cuddling and loving each other. I think this is when I knew that I could now move on to the next step, bringing them into the living room. Now this is a bit of a different territory than the bathroom was, due to the fact that the bathroom was a place where neither of them had really been. Maybe Daisy was in there a few times before him, but not much. Now since Daisy was the only one living here for quite a while, I wanted to allow Romeo to put his scent everywhere around the living room as well. So I would bring him out separately and let him free roam, and bring her out separately and let her free roam every once in a while throughout the day. This is the first time that I'm feeding them together. I was a little nervous, but I knew that it was the right thing to do at this time. I thought that they had gotten very far in the process and they were ready for this step. Now, as you can see, I began the feeding them together process by having them eating in front of each other, but two separate piles. This slowly began to come closer and closer as I noticed that they were getting more and more comfortable. So after a few more dates in the living room with the two of them, I thought it best to move the bonding process to the next step by connecting their two playpens together in my room. Unfortunately, due to the size of my room, it just was not possible for me to videotape this part of the bonding process. So I do apologize for that. However, I do have pictures showing kind of the layout, and this is one of the best photos I have of how I started the process. As you can see in this picture, they are still separated in a way where if Daisy wanted to just be on her side of the room, she could, and if he wanted to be on his side of the room, he could. I did that so they could feel like they had the space, but also the freedom to be together if they wanted to. As you can see, it did not take them long to decide that they wanted to be together and next to each other like all the time, which was really great, and it made the transition a lot easier for all three of us. After seeing how quickly they got along, I started playing with the setup and giving them a little more space to just be together. So this is one of the other setups that I ended up having for a while, and this worked out really well for all three of us. They were so cute together, and I soon realized it was time for me to transition to the next step by allowing them to be together at night while I slept. Of course, I was in the same room as them, so if anything were to happen, I was there to stop it. The nights went by pretty well. There were a few nights that I did have to end up separating them and putting them into separate playpens just because she was constantly trying to dominate him by humping, and I could tell he wasn't really into it. However, after a few more times of her doing this, he quickly caught on that she was in control and she was the dominant one, and they just clicked. So the next step was leaving them alone for a while I wasn't home. Leaving them home alone when I went to work was a really hard thing to do. I just want to add though that I had made this decision due to the fact that I was leaving them alone together quite often just while I was cooking in the kitchen. I started having them come out into the living room together and play while I was cooking. They just seemed to be getting along so well. I thought it was time to trust them. So I did. They were eating together, they were cuddling together, they were sleeping together. Everything was going great. So I left and I came home and they were cuddling. Everything was great. I felt very lucky to have a go-to rabbit expert by my side. The woman, Stephanie, who I went through the speed dating process with at Reddoor. Anytime I had questions or was panicking, she was there with a response and some comforting words. So that was really helpful to have. Ask for somebody's number at the rabbit shelter that you are hopefully adopting from. Just a friendly reminder, just because my bonding process only took 2 weeks doesn't mean yours will. Some can take up to 6 months to even over a year. If you're thinking about getting another bunny to bond with your current rabbit, always think to adopt and not shop. Talk to your local rabbit shelter about the bonding process. And ask if they do a speed dating process as well to get you started. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for our next video.